And Ghana has summoned South Africa's top envoy to the country over reported acts of intimidation and harassment against its citizens and other African migrants in the southern African nation. Earlier this week, video clips were shared online showing vigilante groups attacking and confronting people they believed were in South Africa illegally. In one of them, they challenge a Ghanaian man over his status. And dual insults, one from the US president and another from a Russian commentator, flung at Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, appear to be uniting at least some of her critics behind her. Last week, US President Donald Trump, who has historically had a close relationship with Italy's conservative leader, decried Meloni as unacceptable after she stood up to him over his criticism of Pope Leo XIV. And Amal Khalil was killed while reporting on an Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon during a 10-day ceasefire. She is the 9th journalist killed in Lebanon this year. As Lebanon buries her and talks continue on extending the ceasefire, what does her death say about the prospects for accountability? In this episode, and after an intense bombardment struck near his home, 5-year-old Jadzaf Hood suddenly lost his ability to speak. He is not alone. Across Gaza, specialists are reporting a rising number of children who can no longer speak following war-related injuries or psychological trauma.
That Chinese AI lab DeepSeek has launched 2 preview versions of its newest large language model, DeepSeek V4, a much-awaited update to last year's V3.2 model and the accompanying R1 reasoning model that took the AI world by storm. The company says both DeepSeek V4 Flash and V4 Pro are mixture of experts models with context windows of 1 million tokens each, enough to allow large code bases or documents to be used in prompts. The mixture of experts approach involves activating only a certain number of parameters per task to lower inference costs.
And in the last few years, AI-powered dictation tools have taken off. In addition to existing dictation apps like WhisperFlow, Super Whisper, Willow and Monologue, new ones are being launched every week. On Thursday, and hardware company, Nothing launched a competitive product of its own called Essential Voice. The core idea is similar to other dictation apps, as Essential Voice works in any app to turn your speech into formatted text and removing filler words like and ah along the way. The company said that you can also create custom voice shortcuts for words, links, templates, and repeated phrases. For instance, you can assign the My Address shortcut to your full address. And surprise! Strictly VC San Francisco, which will kick off this year's events lineup for TechCrunch on April 30 at the Centro Filipino Cultural Center, is getting a new addition to its increasingly stacked roster of speakers. And Uber CTO Praveen Nepali Nagar will join us to discuss, you guessed it, operating at scale in the age of AI. You'll need to act swiftly to grab a ticket, though, for what's becoming the go-to event within the SF startup scene next week. And it's an ideal one-stop shop for any founder or investor looking to widen their networks, deepen community ties, and learn from what's now a wildly deep roster of speakers. And Pakistan has emerged as one of the world's most competitive outsourcing destinations, ranking 16th globally in the Global Outsourcing Talent Index 2026. It outperformed 177 countries and placed itself firmly among the top tier of global digital labor markets.
Indus Cloud has signed a strategic partnership agreement with Pakistan Telecommunication Company Limited, PTCL, to provide advanced cloud solutions powered by Huawei Cloud to PTCL customers. The partnership marks a significant step in Indus Cloud's and PTCL's joint efforts to strengthen Pakistan's cloud and data center infrastructure and expand access to enterprise-grade digital services in the country. By combining PTCL's nationwide infrastructure and enterprise reach with Indus Cloud's platform capabilities, the collaboration will make Huawei Cloud Stack services more accessible to enterprise and government customers, enabling secure, scalable and locally hosted solutions tailored to evolving business needs. That. We finally have a trailer for Maraliari, billed as Pakistan's answer to Durandar, and it looks like it'll be a tearjerker. The film, written and directed by Abu Aleha, focuses on the historic Karachi neighbourhood of Liari, its girls and their love for football. It will release in Pakistan on May 8 after premiering at the UK Asian Film Festival. That. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Friday that he had received successful treatment for early-stage prostate cancer without specifying when the treatment took place. In a statement on social media as his annual medical report was released, Netanyahu, 76, said an early-stage malignant tumour had been discovered during a routine checkup.
And the Northern Irish runner who helped carry a collapsed competitor over the finish line of the Boston Marathon says the world needed a feel-good story amid pervasive negativity in the news, as he reflected on what prompted him to help and why the video of the incident went viral on social media. And the 130th edition of the race on Monday saw defending champions John Corrier and Sharon Lokedi complete a Kenyan sweep, with Corrier setting a new course record while Lokedi missed her previous record by 1 second. And Syrian authorities have arrested the main suspect accused of the 2013 Tadamon massacre in Damascus, during which at least 41 people were killed. Amjad Youssef was arrested following a tightly executed security operation, the Interior Ministry said, adding that surveillance and tracking operations were employed for days across the Al Gab plain in Hama.
That. An Iranian delegation is expected to arrive in Islamabad later tonight as diplomatic activity intensifies ahead of a possible second round of talks with the United States. Government sources told pro-Pakistani that Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi will lead a small negotiating team during the visit to Islamabad tonight. That. Punjab Police has developed a plan to introduce a new system for detecting fake number plates, e-challan defaulters and wanted individuals across the province. According to police officials, the system will use specially equipped vehicles fitted with 360-degree cameras to monitor roads and public places while in motion.
And YouTuber Mr. Beast has found himself in legal trouble again after a former executive sued his media company, Beast Industries, over claims of sexual harassment and workplace gender bias. Lorraine Mavromatis, who joined Beast Industries in 2022 as the head of its Instagram, alleged harassment of female employees was condoned and complaints were not taken seriously at the business. And Chief Minister Murad Ali Shah on Friday said that the Hind government would fulfill its promise of rebuilding Gul Plaza, a multi-storey shopping plaza which was reduced to ruins due to a deadly inferno that claimed the lives of more than 70 people in January. In January, CM Murad had told the Sindh Assembly that the provincial government would demolish and reconstruct Gul Plaza within 2 years, ensuring no increase in the number of shops.
That. Islamabad. Chief Justice of Pakistan CJP Yahya Afridi, who also serves as the chairperson of the Judicial Commission of Pakistan JCP, that has observed that granting the transfer of Justice Kadim Hussain Sumro from the Islamabad High Court IHC to the Sindh High Court SHC would render key constitutional ideals, federalism and equitable representation, redundant. That. Such a transfer will also reduce the appointments of judges to merely a temporary and reversible administrative arrangement, the CJP feared in his response to informal requests by IHC Chief Justice Sardar Mohammad Sarfraz Dogar to requisition a JCP meeting for the transfer of 5 judges presently serving in IHC to other high courts.
And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said he is in excellent physical condition after the publication of his annual medical report revealed he had a malignant tumour removed. In a post on X on Friday, Netanyahu said that during routine medical monitoring following successful surgery for an enlarged benign prostate, doctors found an early-stage malignant tumour. And poisoning is suspected in the deaths of 18 wolves within a few days in a national park that straddles 3 regions of central Italy. After the carcasses of 10 wolves were found last week, another 8 were found when patrols were stepped up in recent days in the Abruzzo, Lazio and Molise National Park. And sovereignty of the Falkland Islands rests with the UK, Downing Street has said, following a report the US could review its position on Britain's claim to the territory. An internal Pentagon email reported by Reuters suggested the US was considering options to punish NATO allies it believed failed to support its war on Iran. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu quietly underwent treatment for prostate cancer. He said Friday, as he publicized the results of his annual medical examination, it is the first time the longest-serving leader in Israel's history has acknowledged that he was diagnosed with cancer. And Italian peacekeepers have replaced a statue of Jesus Christ in a village in southern Lebanon after an Israeli soldier was pictured taking what appears to be a hammer or axe to the figure. And Israel apologized and placed 2 soldiers in detention after the image caused outrage in Christian communities in Lebanon and across the world. Another 6 soldiers have been questioned over the incident, and which Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called wholly inconsistent with the values expected of the Israel Defense Forces, IDF. And an email has circulated within the United States Defense Department laying out potential measures the US could take against NATO allies it believes have not sufficiently supported its war on Iran, such as Spain and the United Kingdom. And according to a US official quoted by the Reuters news agency, the internal email considers options such as suspending Spain from NATO and re-evaluating Washington's stance on the British Falkland Islands, which are also claimed by Argentina, and the official said speaking on condition of anonymity. And the number of amputees in Gaza, already at a record high, could rise as Israel continues to restrict medical aid into the devastated Strip. A humanitarian group has warned Humanity and Inclusion UK, which works with people living with disabilities, said this week that the scale of amputations carried out in Gaza reached unprecedented levels during the genocide. And United States President Donald Trump has claimed Iran is collapsing financially and said the country is losing millions of dollars a day due to Washington's naval blockade of Iranian ports. In a post on his Truth Social platform on Tuesday night, Trump wrote, "Iran is collapsing financially. They want the Strait of Hormuz opened immediately, starving for cash, losing $500 million a day, military and police complaining that they are not getting paid. SOS." And Karachi, Pakistan. At Karachi port, the largest in Pakistan, 3,000 stranded containers hold cargo that was meant to be shipped to Iran. What's in them is not known, but the vessels that were supposed to collect them have not arrived. And with tensions in the Strait of Hormuz escalating, there is no clarity on when those ships might finally be able to reach Karachi.
That Amazon just scored a major coup with Meta, thanks once again to Amazon's own homegrown chips. Meta has signed a deal to use millions of AWS Graviton chips to power its growing AI needs. Amazon announced Friday, note that the AWS Graviton is an ARM-based CPU, a central processing unit, the chip that handles general computing tasks, not a GPU, a graphical processor.
And the US Department of Justice has announced a major shift in drug policy, easing restrictions on certain marijuana products and accelerating efforts to reclassify the drug as less dangerous. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said the government will move FDA-approved and state-regulated medical marijuana from the most restrictive category of drugs to one with lower abuse potential. And a series of new political polls indicate declining public approval for Donald Trump, raising concerns for Republican candidates ahead of the upcoming US midterm elections. Surveys conducted by Reuters Ipsos, AP Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, and Strength in Numbers Verisight show Trump's approval ratings hovering in the mid-30s, marking some of the lowest levels of his presidency.